Leadership is not the art of getting people to do stuff. Leadership is the art of getting people to want to do what you believe needs to be done. Colin Powell, the great American military leader, said, a competent leader sees a platoon of 16 men. A great leader sees 16 individuals, each with their own needs, desires, and aspirations. Do you see the shift here? We're moving from the leader as evangelist, pontificating, follow me, to the leader as therapist, listening. Because if leadership is about getting people to want to do what you believe needs to be done, then you've got to know what they want. You've got to know what motivates them. And you can't know what motivates them if you've never asked them. You can't know what moves them until you've actually had that conversation. And that's why increasingly in some of the work that I do in the United Kingdom, they are talking about manager as coach. Because that's what we want. More and more people are coming in not just for the salary at the end, but they're coming in to grow and to develop. That's what motivates them. And of course, in helping them to do so, that adds value to your organization. You may have heard the story of Roger Bannister. It's a famous story. Roger Bannister, who was the first man to break the 4-minute mile. And of course, he's up there on the pedestal as this hero, because up until he did, people actually thought it was impossible. In fact, there were doctors saying that it would kill you to actually break the 4-minute mile. The human body was just not capable of doing it. And then, of course, what happens is Bannister breaks the 4-minute mile, and within the next year, a whole bunch of other people do it as well. And it's a great motivational story about how the real barrier is actually the mental barrier. And once that mental barrier is gone, once you believe something is possible, well, then you are far closer to making it possible. But in fact, the real hero there, I think, was not Roger Bannister, who was something of a hero, to be fair, but even more was his leader, was his coach, a man called Fritz Stampfel. Fritz Stampfel was the man who instilled the belief that Roger Bannister could break the 4-minute mile. In fact, on the day that he did it, Fritz pulled him aside and said, I believe you can do a 3:57 mile. Roger Bannister says in that moment, for the first time, he believed that this was possible. He said that was what enabled him to do it. It was having a coach, a leader, a mentor say, I believe in you. You can do it. You can do it. Do you do that for your people? You know, you can predict American presidential elections on just one thing: optimism. The more optimistic candidate almost invariably wins the campaign. It's instructive to look at the competition between John McCain and Barack Obama. Barack Hussein Obama, a relatively inexperienced politician, had what? Just about the most optimistic slogan of all time: yes, we can. Up against John McCain. John McCain, an American war hero, a veteran with tremendous experience, a man, let's not forget, who turned down his freedom in Vietnam until every one of his team were freed first. Heroes like this do not come around often. John McCain, perhaps, attempted to create optimistic communication. He famously said, there is no recession in 2008. It's in our minds. That's not optimism. That's perhaps desperate optimism. Or perhaps that's just what he genuinely believed. But for people who felt the recession, well, they didn't want to be told that it wasn't happening. Now, interestingly, whatever your politics are, let's just look at this, because Barack Obama didn't say there's no recession. He said, actually, there's a recession and it's going to be tough. And we're going to have to tighten our belts and roll up our sleeves and work harder than we ever had before. We're going to have to call on that great American resilience that is in our blood to do what needs to be done. But, yes, we can. Do you see, that optimism isn't about pretending that it's going to be easy. Optimism isn't about pretending there's no problem. Optimists see the problem. They're just optimistic that they'll be able to find the solution. And so as leaders, we don't want to be lied to, no. In fact, we like a challenge. We like to feel that we could be heroes out there slaying dragons, yeah? But that ultimately, as Fritz Stampfel did for Roger Bannister, and as you can do for your people, as tough as it may be, yes, we can.